To me, the Propel Summit was definitely...
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Black Wallet. If you're watching this video for the very first time, I want you to understand what we do on the Black Wallet. So the Black Wallet is inspired by the idea of us Black people leaving a generational legacy for our children. If you look at statistics, majority of the companies, majority of the authors that we hear of, the great men or the white brothers, the great innovations in this world have been done by white people. So we are here on the Black Wallet to change that narrative by sharing knowledge, sharing ideas, investment ideas, that is business ideas, so that we can pass on that knowledge to our generation, our children. We just don't want our children to inherit a house, a physical house. We want them to inherit a house of wisdom, so that that house, that physical house that we live, can be maintained with the wisdom that is shared on this channel. That's what we do. Consider subscribing. Having said that, today is no exception of amazing things that are yet to happen here. So I've come up with an idea of sharing or giving reviews of various events that I attend that concerns wealth building, wisdom, or knowledge with regards to what this channel is all about. So the previous video I shared was wine, money, entrepreneurship. So if you didn't watch that one, the description box is below. So in today's video, I wanted to give my personal experience about the Propel Summit. It happened at the music club last weekend. I'll walk you through my personal review, my take home from the speakers, ideas that I wish can be heard, and then a few things that I feel could have been better and why I feel they could have been looked into and could get a better outcome. So it's basically my personal feedback. Now, first things first, we want to understand what the definition of propel means. So the definition of propel means to drive forward or onward, as if you are being driven by a force. According to the definition, we are told when there is a propel, there is a push. One of the synonyms of propel is work. So if a conference must be called a Propel Summit, my expectations are that whatsoever is going to happen in that summit, at the end of the day, I must have left the environment with a force pushing me frontwards, pushing me forward to work. Interestingly, I would tell you, in my personal view, the conference was very uncomfortable. Uncomfortable not in the sense of the whole environment or the whole event was held up, but in the sense that it was really a force for me to move, a force for me to think outside the box, outside the odds, and really perfect where I am at. When you are uncomfortable, think of it like I'm seated right here and somebody pushes me. There will be an uncomfortable move. There will be a movement by force. That's what the summit did to me. It propelled me, pushed me, literally pushed me to work even harder, to work even smarter. Really much needed, because I felt so comfortable. Everything is going as planned. Maybe I'm working with my goals. I'm working with what I needed to do. And there I was, seated comfortably, driving into 2022. And the summit was like, hold on, you're not there yet. So in my personal view, it was uncomfortable, which pushed me, which really got me out of my seat. And I was like, I needed that. What I am trying to say is, when you call an event by a specific name. There has to be delivery as expected. When you call for a conference, say propel, maybe exhort, the expectations of us, the audience, is that what you are calling the conference must be attend. And yes, 1,000 times it was attend. 1,000 times it was attend. In my view, in my experience, I agree the event was really a Propel Summit. It was to the point. You're coming here for a summit, not for entertainment. So let's get you to a place of work. Let's work immediately. It wasn't like, okay, there's interruption of music, there's interruption of jokes. That could be done at a joke summit. However, this was a propelling summit for business, serious business. So yes, that to me was good because it was to the point. Let's get to business. What needs to be done? There was like a break, and then after the break, we later broke off. We later broke off for lunch, and after the lunch, we got back to the latter part of the session. What to me stood out is the fact that it's a summit. There are breaks in between. Those breaks are key to market yourself to people, to network with people, because we had like two breaks and then one long lunch break. So it could be enough time for me, for you to give out business cards. It could have been enough time for us to meet new people. One other thing I loved is the Propel Summit dared me. It dared me to be different. It dared me to think outside the box. It dared me into action. Can you do it? Because everybody else is doing it. What is the difference? What makes you different? What are your expectations? What are the expected results out of your business? Especially when the pitches were going on, I literally felt it was me in that position. Even when they were given recommendations, even when they were given suggestions on what they should work on, how they can focus and improve their business, that was confronting me literally through other people. And I asked myself, if I had the opportunity to pitch my business idea, is it even ready? Is it even worth hearing? We take for granted these things. Imagine you have a whole 1 year and somebody comes to you and says, look, here's an opportunity. I'm willing to invest in people. And you start running up and down. It's a reminder to us that whatever we dream of, we must be willing to prepare for it. Because a time will definitely come when that dream has to manifest only through an opportunity like this. Practicality is the fact that there was a Propel magazine for all of us. It was going on sale. It was 50 kwacha, but if you got a VVIP ticket, it came with the Propel magazine. So to me, when it comes to events, in as much as there's so much of the talking, there always has to be much of the work, which I believe with 100% confidence that was delivered through this magazine. So in the magazine, there are like different companies, 10 books, for example, 10 books you should read by age 35, of which I'm proud to say I've read half the books. So positioning yourself for success after graduation. So it was like a practical book that at the end of the day, if you felt Propel was not enough for you, which I really doubt, you still have the Propel magazine to go through, read, and still learn a thing or two. I also loved the variety of the speakers. So actually the summit was from Friday up until Saturday, right? And on Friday, we had speakers such as particular speakers that we had from Friday and that up until Saturday, there's something valuable each of them said. I'll take an example of Mr. Mbali's presentation, Mr. Jonathan Mbali. One thing that I could relate with his presentation is COVID happened, COVID is happening, and probably COVID is going to happen in the future. How will your business stand the test of time? So based on his presentation, I was personally propelled to rethink, redefine my business in situation or tragedies, pandemics such as COVID, or probably those that are yet to come. So that was based on the Friday session. And like I said, there was a Saturday session also. So the variety of the speakers that brought in like different inputs to make the puzzle complete. I will be sharing my take home from the keynote speakers that was on Saturday at the music club. Beginning with Madam Mukwandi Chiwe Sakunda. She basically narrowed down what it means to dream and what it means for you to prepare for the dream. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a background of where you start. She's CEO of Zanaco, but that is not where she began. She talked about speaking to a mentor who she said, one day I want to work for Zanaco. And there she was, the dream coming true. A voice for us women that whatever you are dreaming, you must prepare. An emphasis she made was, be careful what you dream for. It might just happen. The reality is, as you dream, prepare for the dream. Don't let the dream catch you immature or unprepared. That's my take home from her. Mr. Vusi Tembekwayo, he talked about foresight, insight, but for me, what stood out the most of everything he said, which I am grateful for, is it was a reminder. Constantly I say, I am on a journey to leaving a generational legacy. I am on a journey to creating generational wealth. My thought has always been, can my wealth be passed on from generation to generation? Can my wisdom be passed on from generation to generation? Can my knowledge be passed on from generation to generation? A key great example I always give is, let's take the founder of Coca-Cola, right? He was a pharmacist in the early 90s, right? And he's late, but yet we drink Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola has been moving on from generation to generation. Likewise, Mr. Vusi Tembekwayo personally challenged me, reminding me, and his key phrase that really got me thinking was when he said, to him, wealth is no more about how much money he has, but creating and building a kingdom. That got me. That really pushed me. I was like, yes, you're preaching. Like I was just there like, yes, you're preaching. You've got me. Because that is the journey I'm on. And wealth to me, wealth is beyond just, do I have $1 million? Do I have a 2 million? The question I constantly ask myself is, how many people will be under the umbrella of my wealth, wisdom, and knowledge when I'm gone? Mr. Vusi brought emphasis on that and shedded more light on how we are supposed to build a kingdom by studying the kingdom itself, the foundation of the kingdom, how kingdom works. So if we're going to build a generational legacy, then we must study how wisdom has been passed on from generation to generation. So it's a reminder that I must read. It's a reminder that I must prepare adequately and have a structure, mold my kingdom into. United Kingdom is highly recognized because of power and has been passed on from generation to generation. So if we are to create a kingdom, we must understand the principles that govern the kingdom, and that is why we need to learn. Mr. Olakunle, right? Mr. Olakunle also brought one thing. For me, my goal was, if I get my aha moment, I write it down and I walk with it, because so much was said, so much can be learned from, but at the end of the day, I need to pinpoint one thing that I will act on. Mr. Olakunle talked about how there are options and there are choices. Choices are created for us to choose. So we as humans are trained in a way that we are presented with choices, so that our goal focuses on what I am choosing and not really focusing on the options available. So he challenged us in a way that we should be part of the options being available. Facebook, for example, is owned by the same person who owns Instagram. What he is doing is simply creating options for us to choose, but we have no say in the options, and that's where he is pushing, propelling us to think, how best can I also create options? Basically, to influence the world, we must be part of the people creating the options. In business, education, I always think of an example like majority of our education system is Western. Why don't we have a say? Because they are the ones who give us the option, the money, right? To me, that is the push, like if you want to have influence, you must create the options. In your business, you must be innovative such that you are part of the people. Your influence is to an extent that when a decision has to be made in terms of what options have to be provided for, you are there. And that is what I loved about it. I have two ideas actually that I felt the Propel Summit could adopt to next year. Number one, there was like these big screens in the front stage, right? So these particular screens could use advertisement during our break. So different businesses are advertised on screen, not really maybe with sound, but just pictures while people network. So that was my idea, and I personally think it's brilliant, because the screens were literally just left with the Propel Summit. And if we are like 1,000+ people in the auditorium, people could benefit and leverage on the fact that their advertisement put out there for their businesses. That's the idea I had. Idea number one. Idea number two was maybe next year there could be like a red carpet. There were like posters, all right? There were like posters that was outside suggesting, why I was thinking of an idea of the red carpet is simply because, the event was amazing, but most of the people who missed out wouldn't really know what they missed out if people don't share about it. So if there's a red carpet and people are taking pictures, people are giving reviews, let's say after session 1 on the red carpet, there's like media there, just asking people what their experience is so far, so that other people can learn. The content of the Propel Summit was really copyrighted in that environment. But I think if there's a portion of the red carpet, that will help people understand how valuable the Propel Summit is. And that is why I personally decided, I'm going to do this video and not just write a post, because I wrote a post on my Instagram, I think a day or two after the Propel Summit, and I just felt it wasn't enough. It wasn't me if there was no video. So I created the video. So those are basically the two main ideas. Should anything come up, I know the website, www.propelsummit.com. Over here, you can check it out and then send all the ideas. And I think it's good to give feedback as well. 3 things that were of my concern that could have been better. Number 1 was Friday's speaker. We didn't really have a lady. So, us women, we like to see like other women there. For Saturday, we did have a female speaker, but for Friday, it would be good to have a female speaker. That's just me, like the world has to be balanced. But it was good. Then the second thing I noticed was we had the same faces. Speakers on Friday were our hosts on on Saturday, which I think, in my opinion, be a very good opportunity to engage young people, because young faces were definitely missing as well. So if the young people are also engaged, especially when it came to hosting, because there's kind of like a youngish vibe we want to nurture with the speakers. I was very much for the idea that the older generation or the older people kind of like take it up. By older, I mean experienced people, because young people, sometimes we are all over. So we are all over, and we needed to hear from experienced people for the very first time. We needed to take several seats behind and listen from people who've been in the field longer, because sometimes as young people, you just have 1 million followers, you're suddenly a motivational speaker. You just have 1 million likes, you're a motivational speaker. You just made your 1 million kwacha. Basically, it could have been a mixture of the young and the old, because at the end of the day, you're also propelling young people and challenging young people to participate and training us young people, because imagine being part of the master of ceremonies for such an event. Obviously, there is adequate preparation that has to be done, and it's a nurturing ground for us young people. One fact that I liked for sure, especially for Saturday event, the MCs were experienced, such that they knew how to land to a summary after a speaker is done. Experienced in the sense that they also have like a business background, personal companies. So it was easy to give that summary and mature conversation. So where I feel the young people could have fit in is basically maybe actually co-MCing, especially on the Friday event. That's just my opinion, but overall the people who were MCing did a very good job. Okay, the other thing was part of my idea. I just felt there was not much of social media engagement at the event, because that would have been a very good opportunity to sell out even more on the Propel on social media. Not necessarily the content, but the fact that people can let's say share their experience while the event is happening on social media. Hashtag, we do a hashtag Propel 2022, and the people in the audience are asked to share maybe their experience using the hashtag 2022. Reason being is, when you create a hashtag, Propel Summit is going to be an annual event. That means the different hashtags could be searched. If I want to see how Propel Summit 2022 was based on people's review, I see that immediately just using the hashtag. So I think the social media is a very powerful tool, and we cannot deny that it's powerful in this era, both for the good and the bad. So in as much as we would say it's bad, but we can leverage on the opportunities that it brings, especially when we are sharing positive content. Propel Summit socials. So we have Propel Summit Instagram, Propel Summit YouTube, Propel Summit TikTok, Propel Summit everything, and just to engage sociality, because a time is coming when people have to travel far and wide across the continent just to come to Propel Summit was propelling. And one thing I would say is, it takes a leader to identify, cultivate, nurture talent. And that is what Reverend Bruce Musidi did using this platform. He identified people who have potential to get help in terms of finance in line with their businesses, and called everybody to come to be propelled. And that is what was delivered. I must say, it takes a great leader to push you into action. Most of us are too comfortable, especially because nobody can challenge us. But I would applaud him for this, because really it's a propelling season. Really, it has been an uplifting season, a reminder that you are too comfortable and you should get up. A reminder that the world is not going to wait for you till you make up your mind to start that business, till you make up your mind to upgrade your skill as a career person. The world is not waiting for anybody, so you must take action. So to me, it was a force, a move that you must act now. Tools to equip us for the greatness that is ahead.
I applaud Reverend Bruce Msidi personally because it takes greatness to identify greatness and appreciate and value, to nurture what you have. To me, the Propel Summit was definitely worth time. And like the saying goes, whatever is valuable, you make time for it. So if Reverend Bruce Msidi made time to ensure that this conference was a success, then he values the potential and the people. Likewise, these opportunities for granted. I go to such events because I value the knowledge and the network it comes with. And I believe Propel delivered. Propel delivered. Propel delivered. And thank you so much.
Propel 2022, are you ready?